Your voice. Have you been concerned or worried that your voice, or specifically in this tip, it's about having an accent. Either you have an accent or how to engage people or have great conversations with someone else that has an accent. So you understand them and you're on track and maintain that connection and rapport. But primarily people that have accents, it could be a very heavy accent or just a light accent. Some people love accents. I love accents. I'm okay with it. And some people don't. They get frustrated. And so if you're missing out on opportunities where people are saying, well, let me think about it, or I'm going to talk to a few more people, or they don't take your directions, it could be your voice, and it may be an accent. So there's some tips I'm going to share with you on what you can do strategically to connect with more people and to get your message heard so that you're branded as that industry expert. And this is not about accent reduction, even though I do have some tips and some exercises that I share with clients that hire me for coaching and how to work on their accent or accent reduction. However, that's not my specialty, and I just have some tips and techniques that can help on that. Specifically, now this is a strategy on how to connect with people and how to project yourself as that industry leader so you don't lose an opportunity, so you don't get frustrated. So, and you may know you're losing opportunities, you may not even realize it, or you may not be. You may be doing okay. Again, it depends on not only the accent, how heavy it is, but also other elements of communication. The rapport, your voice, the words you're using, your body motion. And those are other techniques and elements that I cover in my program for those that want to know more in regards to how to brand yourself as an industry expert by all those key elements, your voice, the words, the gestures, emotions, the engagement, the questions you ask. Those are all projecting an image. First off, the accent. And if you have an accent, and the accent could be you have an accent and the person you're talking to has an accent, either in the same language or it could be completely different, meaning one person can be Hispanic with an accent, the other person could be Asian with an accent. And so the accents are going to be different. The thing is, if someone has a heavy accent, then that's an obvious indicator that English is their second language. So you need to then be sensitive to that and talk in a certain way and engage them and ask certain questions so they can process the information you're sharing with them. Otherwise, again, as I mentioned, they're going to say, well, let me think about it. And you're going to be losing out on great opportunities to help people. So the accents could vary. And some key points in regards to having an accent, there's a tip in regards to using your voice as a musical instrument and also to create engagement. And so one tip is to simply calibrate people. And what I mean by that is when you're talking to somebody and having a conversation, watch them. I go deep into this when I'm coaching clients or in my programs on how to really read people. However, just right now, be aware of that. When you're having a conversation with somebody and you're talking to them, either you have an accent or or you don't have an accent and they have an accent, and then you see them make a different facial expression, like an expression of concern or curiosity, or something's changed. They just don't understand what you said or not sure what you said. That's calibrating, is watching them. And at that point, you need to stop and ask them some questions of, do they have a question? Does this make sense? So that's basics on calibrating. The main thing that you do that will help you is to simply use the power of a pause, as I did there. So when you pause, you allow the person, if they have, again, English as their second language, or if you're talking with an accent, where you pause and allow them to process and absorb what you just said. Because if you're talking and talking and talking and talking with an accent and they're trying to figure out what you just said and you continue to talk and they're trying to keep track, you've lost the connection, the rapport, and the power of being able to persuade them or influence them because they're not tracking everything that you're saying. So pause strategically, and you can pause, and the power of a pause does two things. One is, as I mentioned, it allows them to absorb and process what you just said. And then it also creates engagement, a sense of anticipation. Like, what are you going to say next? Or what are you going to reveal or talk about next? and it then highlights what you talk about next. For example, if I said, I want you to feel confident that I'm the right person to help you. That pause, I want you to feel confident that, then I pause, I'm the right person to help you. There's that anticipation, what is he going to say next? And then you then focus on, I'm the right person to help you. So it creates more of a flow and what's called priming of train of thought. And it's very powerful and effective to engage people and to start to use language in a way that will guide them in the direction you want, to, as I mentioned, prime them to think positive things about you or the message you have to offer. So pause for engagement, anticipation, but mainly with an accent. If you have an accent, you pause strategically as you're saying something. This is what I'm talking about. This is what's how we're going to do this. Pause and then say, and then the next thing we're going to do. So watch them as you pause, see if they understand, and if they don't, you then ask them some questions. Do you have any questions about what I just said? So what you don't want to do, if someone has an accent, a heavy accent, and you realize English is not their first language, the classic mistakes people make are talking slower or talking louder. Don't do that. That's not being genuine, it's being disrespectful. And so simply repeat certain key phrases that they're saying so to make sure you're on track and they get a sense that you really understand them. So if they say, yes, I want you to feel confident that we're going to take care of this, and you go, oh, okay, feel confident, yes, yes. And they get a sense, okay, you're not repeating everything, you're not parroting back, you're paraphrasing, you're just saying a word in regards to the message they're talking about to acknowledge that you heard them and to make sure that you've heard them correctly. And so, oh, yeah, feel confident. Okay, yeah, confident. And this is how I'm going to help you and service you and market your, do all the marketing. Okay, great. The marketing and the service, that sounds great. So you just repeat back a few phrases. However, if they do say something and you really don't understand it or you're not really sure what they mentioned or just covered, you can stop and ask them, can you repeat that? Can you clarify that? Just ask them to clarify. It's okay. You want to make sure you understand them. And people want to be understood and acknowledged. So asking that question is another way of creating strong connection and rapport. And so the other thing about a pause is it allows you to then give a sense that you're not being scripted, that you're not going through a quick script of what you want to say. And also if someone asks you a question, so I don't understand that, and you just quickly just start to repeat, oh no, what this is what we're going to do, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to take care of it, and you don't pause, then it sounds like you're being defensive or you're working off a script. So if someone asks you a question, I don't understand that, you pause and say, okay. And so this is what I meant. So as if you're thinking about their question or their concern, to answer it with care and sincerity. And you really do want to understand what they're saying. So the pause can help you in many different elements. And as I mentioned, your voice is just one thing. There's also the way you talk, your words, and in your voice, accent or not, there are elements of your voice, since it's a musical instrument. And the pause is like using your voice as a musical instrument, as in the beats of a drum, and there's a pause, and then there's another beat, and so people are able to then follow a rhythm, and it creates that again, your musical instrument of your voice. There's other elements of the voice, and you want to be able to use it so that you're branding yourself as that industry expert, and be able to talk in a way that people sense that you're an expert, you're an authority. Your gestures, the words you use, there are dangerous words, there are powerful words, there are engaging words. The questions you ask, your body motion, not just the gestures, where you stand and how you move around somebody. Those are all sending messages beyond just the accent. So it could be just the accent that's causing some questions or some loss of opportunities, or it's not. You're okay with the accent and you're using everything else okay, or you're missing on opportunities that you're not even aware of. And that's what this information all about to help you feel better about yourself, to feel confident, to feel excited about having conversations with people. And the voice, in many cases, people, in regards to losing opportunities, it's also the opportunity of not videotaping yourself. A lot of people don't like the sound of their voice, and they don't like to videotape themselves because of that. And so you're losing the opportunity of being in front of more people by videotaping yourself and being on camera and expressing and showing who you are. So pausing on video will also help you, and you'll be able to connect with more people. As I mentioned, you'll feel better about yourself, more confident, more relaxed, sleep peacefully at night, excited to, as I pause, talk with more people, have more conversations, grow your business and thrive, and avoid losing great opportunities to help people. So if you want to know some more information, visit my website. Either on one-on-one coaching, I do it personally. I only work with a select number of people with personal coaching, and I want to make sure it's the right fit. That right fit for me, but also the right fit for you. And if you really want to accelerate your business and your career, then I either have a home study course or I have an accelerated program, a 1-month accelerated program called the E Factor, which is very intense. And these are not low budget, these are budget programs or products. These are high level advanced information. As you realize what you just heard and you think about all the conversations you had in the past and all of them you're going to have in the future, now you can think, boy, this will help me. And this is just one element out of the many that you'll learn when you study with me, when you learn from me, when you start to master the power of communication in different levels. And it's not changing yourself, it's just adding some little subtleties to enhance the connection you have, the rapport, to have more people acknowledge you. And ultimately that's my goal, to have you acknowledged and seen as the industry leader, an industry leader, so that people then take your directions, don't negotiate with you, make your meetings and respect you and give you referrals and praise and testimonials. And so for those that want to learn more and you want to accelerate your career and your success, visit my website and contact me. I'm here to help. To your success, bye now.